Yeah, what I always try to do, I think this is good advice. The best way you can know if whatever product or service it is that you offer to the industry, whether it is as an individual, your skill set, or as a business, if you're willing to accept that product and service that you offer, that's a good sign of if you're offering something that will be valuable, looked at positively in the market. So I guess maybe a shorter phrase is, if you're willing to take on yourself as a customer, your own product or service, then you're doing something right.
Exactly. So you need to put yourself in your customer's shoes.
100%.
Right? At the end of the day, we value the feedback from our clients. It's extremely important for any organization, in my opinion. But the fact that we have the ability to test it ourselves for our own benefit, in my opinion, it gives an extra motivation, right? And
100%. And it just puts you in the right place to know, how to better deliver on the B2B side. Welcome to the Financial Frontiers podcast. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit that bell icon to get notified when we upload new content. Follow us on Spotify and give us a 5-star rating. It will help the channel, which I hope you love so much. Episode of the Financial Frontiers podcast. I don't even know what episode we're at, but I have again a guest, one of my initial guests to the show, to the podcast. Thank you, Petros, for joining me now under a new name, let's call it.
Yeah.
You've changed your roles, and today we're going to speak more about, I guess, the prop trading space, because that's where you are now. Why don't you give us a bit of an update? We said 2 years since we last spoke with time.
It's already 2 years, actually.
2 years.
It's
Petros
amazing.
Kalaitzis. Please tell us, give us some updates. Let's go.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me again. The fact that we are here 2 years later is a clear sign that this show is actually very welcome from the industry. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And the new studio, I have to admit that it looks amazing.
Thank you.
So yeah, 2 years have passed since my last role. I was back then in Tools for Brokers, which was a pure B2B software provider. So now I'm serving FunderPro as a Chief Strategy Officer. So effectively, I am responsible for the whole organization and what needs to happen in the future so we can keep growing as we are, or even more. A little bit, if I may, about the actual model of FunderPro, because I'm not sure what the audience is aware of. We had some very recent changes from the beginning of this year, actually. So FunderPro essentially is a Malta headquarter company. We have a quite big office now also in Limassol, and we keep growing here in the region of Cyprus. Technically, FunderPro is a software provider company as such, and it has 4 revenue streams since the beginning of this year. There is one stream in the B2B side, so we are actually using all the in-house created technology as a white label service on a SaaS model, software as a service model, for B2B clients who would like to start their own prop firms. Yes, so that's number 1. Number 2 and 3, it's a pure B2C prop trading firm with product offering both in Forex and futures. So we have our own prop firm. We are running it with the same software that we are also providing to others.
Same name, FunderPro.
Same name for now, at least. So there are some thoughts in the marketing side, but for now everything is under the umbrella of FunderPro. And quite recently, we have also came into a decision that a regulated South African broker called Next Trade is going to be running autonomously independently under the supervision of the same management as FunderPro. So effectively, that will be our fourth revenue stream, which is going to be a regulated broker. We have applied for an additional offshore license, which will be ready in a couple of months. And effectively, we will have our own.
Yeah, so I'll give my, when you talk about what the audience knows about FunderPro, I think I can maybe speak to that because I am an outsider, let's call it, at least for the time being. FunderPro has not been around for long, maybe a couple of years, 2-3 years.
Correct.
And I've seen different branding and products out there, Trade Locker being one of them. And I've always seen Trade Locker and FunderPro coupled, let's call it, in the branding efforts that have happened from the business. And I remember I took a panel once. That's how, in the initial days, FunderPro that came to my radar, let's call it, was on a panel with a gentleman named Lucas, I think, and he was speaking about Trade Locker back then. I can't remember which panel that was, but that's how FunderPro came to me in my view. And my understanding was that it is a pure B2B. So that clarification, I guess, maybe for whoever it's interesting to is useful, I guess, for the audience, that you are a B2B as well. And also a prop trading, I guess, a model to prove the model of the B2B, your own internal model to prove.
I mean, we are heavily testing the software that we provide to our B2B clients. And I believe this is the massive and most efficient test. We test it ourselves. So everything that we provide to others, it's exactly the same that we are using also in our retail arm. Regarding the platform, effectively Trade Locker is actually another legal entity. It's a platform provider. Obviously, it's a very, very big partner of us. So the main, when somebody asks for recommendation, we give Trade Locker in the B2B side. Obviously, as a software provider, we're trying also to be independent, and we have integration with multiple platforms. But realistically speaking, the last few years, Trade Locker has showed some really nice signs of growth. And we like the technology. That's why we are partners with them.
Yeah, what I always try to do, I think this is good advice. I can't remember where I saw this advice, where I read this advice, maybe some quote from, I don't know where. But the best way you can know if whatever product or service it is that you offer to the industry, whether it is as an individual, your skill set, or as a business, if you're willing to accept that, product and service that you offer, that's a good sign of if you're offering something that, will be valuable, looked at positively in the market. So I guess, or maybe a shorter phrase is, if you're willing to take on yourself as a customer, your own product or service, then you're doing something right.
Exactly. So you need to put yourself in your customer's shoes.
100%.
Right? At the end of the day, we value the feedback from our clients. It's extremely important for any organization, in my opinion. But the fact that we have the ability to test it ourselves for our own benefit, in my opinion, it gives an extra motivation. Right. And
100%. And it just puts you in the right place to know, how to better deliver on the B2B side. So you have the B2B, you have the direct, let's call it B2C offering of prop, and now also the brokerage, which, as we understand, and maybe for the audience who doesn't understand, the difference between prop trading and brokerage is, and purely on the B2C side, is the end customer coming to a prop trading firm is not risking their own money. They're subscribing to a service that basically is built to evaluate their ability to trade. And if they pass the evaluation, then they're provided a funded account of capital, which is not their own capital, with the intent of making a profit that they can then split with the prop trading firm. As opposed to the brokerage firm, you go in as a trader and you part with your own money. Whatever money you put in is
your own capital,
your own risk. And so I've had many conversations over here with different prop trading owners, CEOs, and just that dynamic, right? Just the fact that a trader that has been given a funded account and is not trading with their own capital versus a trader who's putting their own capital, the risk, even though it's similar businesses, it completely changes the dynamic when it comes to risk management.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
First of all, just let me take you one step back. So we believe, and this is our approach, at least for this year, that no matter what your trading journey is as a person, you should have one place to come into, right? So effectively right now, FunderPro can support people who, as you said, they don't have or they don't want to risk their own capital to test their risk management skills or trading skills. So if you come and join our arm of the prop, regardless if you're trading futures or Forex, we have a place for you so you can get our money, considering that you have proven that you are good in risk management, and then you start trading. The moment you start making a decent amount of money and you want to try it on a 100% profit sharing for you, you can jump into the brokerage side, which is regulated, and there, as you said, you are risking your own money, you're trading your own funds, and etc. And on top of all this, if at one point you grow so much and you want to test your journey as a brand owner or a business owner, we can give you the same software that you have been using while you have been trading, and you can create your own company. So no matter where you are in your trading journey, we should have a place for you. Regarding the risk management, I still remember 2 years ago we were talking about it on a different angle, but it's always a very hot topic. Indeed, it's actually not completely, but almost completely different logic in terms of how you manage your risk.
And I think a lot more difficult. The risk is high on the prop side.
Probably, yes.
While it would be a bit of a contradicting thought, like one would think the brokerage risk management is more difficult, but I don't know if more difficult, if you can categorize it as so binary as difficult or not. I don't know, but it's a whole different ballgame.
I think it's difficult or more difficult or less difficult. It's kind of case by case scenario, because obviously in the broker side there are strict regulations in terms of capital and etc. On the other side, on the prop business and in our model specifically, so you are the trader is not risking his money, so the psychology of the trader by default is different, right? I'm not saying that they don't care, but it's different by default. So you are trading your own money versus you're trading somebody else's money. We in FunderPro have quite strong selling points that we provide daily payouts to our customers. So effectively anything above $50, you can claim it in the same day, no questions asked. You get paid with no limits daily. Okay, this is not so common in the industry, and on top of that, we provide to every trader who passed the demo challenge on an actual live server account, and we deposit our own money. So it is a live funded account. So technically, when things go sideways, they are burning our capital. So the risk management for sure is different, and in some cases it's more difficult, yes, because you need to make a risk management strategy for your own money on a trading strategy of somebody else.
It's a big one, that one, for in my mind. The one where the psychology of the trader is different because they're trading other people's money versus their own. It's a big one because just in a basic example, and to run it through two different, the two different models. There won't be a trader who is willing to go and put $75,000 or $100,000 and open one massive clip on whichever, on gold, the price of gold or whatever, and hope for the best that it swings to their favor in one day and then they close their trade. They wouldn't risk $75,000 or $100,000 or whatever that capital is if it was their own money. Because in the one side, if it's your own money, you risk losing all of that. And if you open 5 lots or however large that clip is for gold in that example, versus if you go and you do the funded program, all you have to do is pass the evaluation. You've paid $500 or €500 or whatever, and you've passed, and now you've gotten a capital. I'm going to give this one shot. All our risk was 500.
Yes.
So it's a big one.
It is a big one indeed. So we have a maximum funded account, $200,000. Of course, the more profit you make, you can scale it up to a couple of millions allocation. But in the very beginning, the maximum account that we offer is $200K, right? $200,000. So imagine somebody goes and deposits his own money, $200,000. Even with 500 leverage, it doesn't really matter. I don't think he or she would so easily go on a big volatility event, non-farm payrolls, elections we had recently.
Yes.
And just like you said, 5 lots, 10 lots, 15 lots on gold.
Yeah, they wouldn't do that.
Let's go long. If Trump will be elected, we are happy.
We win. Yeah.
Yes. And what do I risk?
Yeah.
My initial deposit fee from the demo stage, which technically got refunded, because when you pass the challenge,
you get it back.
You get it back from us.
So risk-free.
Risk-free.
Can they withdraw that?
Yes, it's theirs. They can withdraw it after the first payout, though.
Okay.
Which is $50 and profit and above.
Yeah. So just to clarify, obviously, if somebody's passed evaluation, then they've been awarded a $75,000 account or $100,000 account or $200,000 account, doesn't mean that they can go withdraw that money. It's not their money, but they withdraw obviously the winnings.
Yes, they get an 80% of their profit as a payout. We keep 20%. And after the first payout, which I repeat, the payout can be $50 or a few $1,000. After the first payout, we give you back the initial fee that you deposited for the challenge that you have passed. So
it's interesting that in FunderPro, the program is based on 100% A-book. So for all the evaluated accounts, you have all the money going to the market. Nothing is taken warehouse, in-house. It's
true.
And that, for me, at least from my experience and what I've seen many prop firms and how they operate, they don't do that. They quote unquote B-book it, one might think, if you base it purely on statistics, that seems like the safer place to go, the safer way to go, because statistically, traders, even though they pass evaluations, still lose their money.
Yes.
Right? The probability is again high because trading is risky. I keep saying that on this channel. I don't want to, put a.
But it's true. It's a fact.
Yeah.
Look, You are kind of absolutely right. Most of the competitors that we have in the B2C arm, when somebody will pass the evaluation stage and will go to the funded stage, they still keep the client into the demo environment. And obviously then it's a liability or how much you trust this company, that when you have a profit on that stage, they will actually pay you effectively from their own pocket, right? At the end of the day, this is what the end customer cares about. We do not follow that route, which is, as you said, the majority of the companies out there are doing that. We allocate real money into a live server account, and we send 100% of the trades to a broker, which is actually STP, like straight through process license. So it has to go to the liquidity provider by
They're
law.
not allowed to.
Yes, they're not allowed to keep it. So this model, realistically, based on numbers, can be in some cases less profitable for us. That's a fact, because as you said, statistically, the majority of people, even on the funded stage, at some point will lose. But we have chosen to do this. The founders and the senior management of the company has always had this mentality. This is not going to change. And even though they sacrifice some of the profit margin, they believe that eventually this is actually the future. Like, we really believe that one day this model might be up to a level forced to be done this way. But anyway, we are doing it. We believe it has more clarity. It's straightforward.
It is a cleaner model,
Yeah.
although seems like it's risky as a business. It is a cleaner model, and I think if you look at if you had to take into account consumer confidence, like trust, it just feels like that is something that would resonate well with a trader, who's where you're being transparent and you're saying, I'm sending all the money that I've promised to give you as a funded account to the markets. I'm not trading this in-house. While on the flip side, there's nothing wrong with that either, right? If as a prop firm, you've decided that you're going to warehouse or you're going to keep the book internal, there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
If that model works for you, it's just that fine balance, right? Between, and again, that part of risk management comes, a lot of the brokers' tactics, let's call it, around risk management comes into play over there, with the addition of taking into account how your traders are actually trading with your own money. So that's why I think and obviously you've validated it is more difficult to manage the risk of a prop firm. All right, so you Chief Strategy Officer.
Yes.
A veteran in the industry. So what are your plans? What is the future of FunderPro? You just mentioned there are these 4 new revenue streams. What does it look like for FunderPro in the next?
Well, as I said, the logic should be and will be that we have a place for everyone, regardless of his stage on the trading journey. Obviously, you cannot accommodate everybody's needs. That's a fact. That the equivalent of multi-asset, multi-language brokerage logic that used to be a trend a few years ago, I firmly believe that where the industry is going, where this model is going, is eventually going to match our strategy, not only for this year, but also for next year. A little bit more detailed thing, it simply means that we will try to grow all 4 revenue streams as equally as possible. We see a huge demand on the B2B side, right? And at the same time, the affiliate push and the affiliate impact more or less it's the same as it used to be in the brokerage industry. It's just now that the product has changed, but the affiliates are there to support the model. There is this very big question mark of regulation and big talks of it. On a very personal level, I really like things to be as regulated as possible, up to a level, because it will clean up a lot of things that are now working, and a lot of people who are actually working outside the gray zones, let's call it. And up to a level, it will be good for the industry. Of course,
it does a lot of things. It flushes out the bad participants, the guys who don't have a good intention, and it also paves a way for this model, because at the moment, in my view, all prop trading firms that are operating don't know what's going to happen with regard to regulation, and the regulators generally, it's not going to be a one-day decision, but if one regulator makes a decision, then it kind of creates this domino effect on going towards that direction. And if this model is not accepted generally by regulators, it'll have the same fate as binary options. And binary options, we know, it's a gambling product, right? There's no real strategy, in my opinion, that one can follow to be profitable consistently. But ergo, why it doesn't exist? I mean, the regulators just disapproved it. So if prop trading follows the same fate, all these prop trading firms might have the same, find themselves in the same position. And so that's why regulation is very good. It takes out the bad participants and also puts that path forward that, the future is reliable. Whereas right now it's touch and go, right? You don't know what's going to happen.
True. Look, practically speaking, the business model itself exists for more than 7 years, right? So if you actually take a look back and see what used to be the framework of business 7 years ago with what it is now, it has already changed. Like the payment providers are becoming more strict, or at least more cautious when it comes to risk. Software providers are asking deeper questions before they integrate. Platform providers, everybody has gone through a stage of being a little bit more mature, let's say. Yet we have a long way, in my opinion. But if you actually think about Forex, traditional Forex brokers, 15 years ago, everybody used to say, what is this? Will it work? No regulation. And here we are, every single year. We have new companies opening in European entities and etc. So again, I think this model will stay. It is a very, very good boost on existing companies' product when they want to diversify their product offering. It can be a very big tool for marketing strategists, okay? But as you said, if you are reckless and you don't, you don't understand what you're doing, or you are a little bit greedy, let's say, it can burn things down, honestly.
100%. And, we all know the regulation comes after the fact. That's what happens. You can't go regulate something that you don't know is going to become of existence. So same debate with crypto and Bitcoin. The community, being the world, has accepted it. So the regulator has got no option. You have to, regulate it in some way or other. And like in any industry, I think, businesses that were in this industry from the beginning and have a good intention and are operating in a legitimate way, even though there's no regulator on top of them, like the likes of FTMO, I would imagine FunderPro as well. These are important businesses for the space, right? they create
The path.
the path, and then the regulator almost uses them as a blueprint, to say, okay, what is this business model and how are we supposed to regulate this thing? What are you guys doing exactly, and how are you operating in a legitimate way? And so the likes of businesses like FTMO help towards that, and I think generally helps the whole industry, because the market is very big, and we've seen it. The brokerage businesses, as you mentioned, 20 years ago, so many open, compared to how many are opening today, because it's become a really competitive environment. Regulation has become super tight.
Yes.
Leverage and whatever. But, it's okay. It's there for the protection of the consumer. Now we're seeing those numbers in the prop trading space. The numbers we used to see with how many were opening, how many brokerages were opening, and in and amongst them were fraudulent ones who have been flushed out. We're seeing the same thing now, and many are opening and operating in a legitimate way. Regulation's going to come and fix it up. It's going to be interesting to see what happens over the next 3-4 years.
Well, look, absolutely. I totally agree with you. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know, maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago, if somebody would have told you that you have to pay for a demo account, you would be a little bit, what? Yeah. Here we are. As you said, I really believe that FunderPro and some few other companies, they are leading the way. We are opening the path. At the end of the day, it has to happen this way. So the regulators, as you said, they cannot regulate something that initially they don't understand. I believe that right now we are in the very important stage that the whole sector is becoming a little bit more mature, and it has more positive attitude towards the actual product, at least comparing to what it used to be 5 years ago. Yet those who are here and they have legitimate interest to serve the client, because at the end of the day, take our business model, we send everything to the market. Nobody can accuse you that you want him to lose when he is on the funding stage. We actually want him to win because we are taking the profits from the market and paying him 80%.
And keeping 20%.
Yes. So this is a pure interest for both parties that you will be successful. That's why us and some other companies are trying to educate you as much as possible, right? So again, I think there are very interesting times in front of us. Our strategy will be that we have to adapt as much as possible and as fast as possible to what's coming. Hopefully we will be right on what's coming, because sometimes you need to think forward. We have a strong leadership team. We have very strong management team, and the company is very well backed up, without being able to give details, but we are solid. So I don't know, future is here. Let's see.
When it comes to that A-book model, right, and I always like to simplify things, and I'll share the simplification that I've got in my mind over here, and I think you helped me towards the simplification when we were discussing a little bit before we started here. And we're going to bring an extreme example in the simplification. So let's say you've got diversification is the key, right? So the more diversification you have in terms of the client sentiment, the safer you are as a prop firm that's doing 100% A-book. Because here's a basic example. Let's say you've got a total client base of 10 customers. All 10 customers are trading the exact same instrument. 5 of them are going in the opposite direction of the other 5. 5 of them have taken 5 lots of gold. In total, all of them equal, and the other 5 have gone 5 lots of gold, all of them equal in the opposite direction.
Okay.
Right? Half are going to lose, half are going to win. Let's say the half who lost, they lost $20,000. Means the others won $20,000. You're going to pay them $16,000. You kept $4,000. Risk-free profit. Honorable business, in my opinion, because you're giving them 80% of winnings from capital that they didn't use. You're leveraging off of the diversification of a big client base, let's call it, because the idea here is that you have many clients, the one to fund the other based on the client sentiment.
Yes.
And so the risk that's left over for the prop firm is that exposure. Which way? So in this basic example, if 4 of them went short and 6 of them went long, you're exposed for two longs.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And the risk dynamics, I guess, play around that field, around there, and just managing your capital and whatever. So that's a nice basic example, I think, that for me makes sense.
This is actually a great example why risk management is different from a broker world, right? And in this specific example, okay, just for the record, it's not going to happen so easily that you will have the exact same amount.
Extreme basic example.
But it can happen. Yeah, you're right. So in this case...
Yeah, but just to clarify that, right? So it's an extreme basic example, but to a certain level, because not everybody's going to close and open trades at the exact same time.
Exactly.
Not everybody's going to open the exact size in terms of trading volume, but there is this layer that it overlaps, and my basic example materializes.
True. So how we operate, and if you're following the company, we have actually numerous videos about that. So we allocate on a live trading account to you as Dinos the capital that you have paid in the demo stage. Let's pretend it's $50,000 and you have X number of leverage. The moment you start trading your 4 lots long and somebody else is doing 6 lots short, we copy all the trades of all the funded accounts into one margin account, which belongs to our company, and it's funded with our money. And from that account, we send the aggregated position, in this case, +2, to the market. And essentially, this is why it's a live trading environment, okay? So here comes your risk management team having to solve this problem. A, are you funded enough here? B, do you have enough leverage on your margin account without compromising the leverage of the individual account, without having better trading conditions than them? Because it's 100% flow. It has to be the same.
Or even marked up, in my opinion.
Yeah, but when we send everything, so we don't mark up. Like we actually, when you trade, if you have you do have a commission, you do have swaps. Because of the license of the broker, we give you the exact same amount that we receive as a cost, right? Okay. So here comes your risk management team, making sure that you are well funded, making sure that those who will win, it's kind of easy. We want them to win. We get 20%, we pay 80%. But then somehow we need to make sure that this 20% is at least equal to the losses of the people who burned our money. Right. That's why it's very important to understand in which level does the prop firm has the so-called stop out levels, right? We have chosen specifically in FunderPro to have a little bit more hard targets and trading conditions into the demo stage from our competitors, because we need to make sure that those who pass, they really understand what they're doing. They really have a strategy. As you said, we don't even allow trading the news, to be honest.
Oh, you don't allow?
Yeah, we don't. We don't. It's public info. Like, we believe that even though some people know what they're doing, trading during the news can be quite risky. And in this case, the psychology is like, but it's not my money. Let's go long. No, people need to understand that effectively we are partners. Like you get 80% of the profits and we get 20. So you have to kind of win. And we support you towards that direction. So back to your risk management question. 6 people went long, 4 people went short. We aggregated, our risk is +2. And then we need to make sure that those who lost didn't lose more than the ones who will be gaining.
Right.
That's why it's so difficult, actually.
Right. Yeah, and I think when somebody looks at different prop trading firms and the rules, when you see a business coming and telling you you cannot trade during the news events, for those who that is a problem for, let's say I'm a trader and I prefer to trade during news events because that is the only way that I've experienced in the past having some profit. That is not generally the way you should trade. That's not trading. To trade in news events, unless there's something that I don't know.
Look, first of all, to clarify, we don't restrict any news trading. So there is a list of news which produce,
of course,
usually high volatility, and
yes,
we post it everywhere. We inform our clients and say
it's 2-3 times a month.
During these events, we don't allow X number of time before and X number of time after to place a trade, etc. So it is targeted. Okay, from a personal experience, there are products which can be really high risk products, such as options, right? That if you know what you're doing and you have a very clear strategy and you trade during the news, statistically, you can make some money. But we're talking here about a majority of people who, first of all, we don't even allow options trading for now. Listed options, not binaries, right? So we don't allow options. Two, statistically, most people fall in the category of losers in the big volatility events rather than those who gain. And 3, we have a thing called consistency rule. So it's not just enough that Dinos will prove to me that he made a profit by taking one trade. Extreme example, you made a trade, not during the news, somehow you got the trend, you check some basic levels of technical analysis, you thought it will go up, you went long, you were lucky, not lucky, doesn't matter, you took the trend, you gain one shot, hit the profit, then we fund you. It doesn't work like that. So we have a consistency rule, we have videos explaining about the percentage of that, the profits of a day cannot exceed X number on the total profits. So we need to make sure that you know what you're doing, you have a strategy, and you are consistent. That's the most important factor here.
Do you provide any education?
Yes, we are trying to. We have a marketing plan to enhance this, but up to a level we have to. You're getting into our house.
Yes.
You have proven to us that you are good enough, and now we need to make sure that you stay here as long as possible, right? Because eventually one day you might lose and hit the stop out too. We just need to make sure that as long as you stayed, you gain enough money that overpass the amount that you might have lost one day. So we do provide education. We have a plan for this year to enhance it, and we actually embrace this. Like we're trying to cooperate with people who can provide this.
You mentioned options trading before.
Yep.
Do you want to maybe talk about what is options trading? So we're not binary options. We're not binary options is just a ticker, basically, where you say up or down.
Yeah. Okay, so when I was referring to options trading, I meant the listed derivative, which is a product that it's been traded in a physical environment, like a CME, the exchange, for example. So it is heavily regulated. It is a margin product, but there are rules. Everybody's trading with the exact same conditions. The definition of an option is that there is an agreement between two parties that one has the option but not the obligation to buy something in a specific time, in a specific price into the future, and the opposite party has the obligation to sell it.
To get it.
In simple words, you can go long or short, and you are actually speculating that the price of an instrument in the future will be from this level up or from this level down. You are willing to pay a small fee in advance called premium for that. And then in some cases, if you were right, you execute and you get all the benefit. If you were not right, you lose the premium. Okay? There are cases when you are you can suffer literally unlimited amount of loss. So eventually you can own money to the broker.
You lose the premium and
you lose everything, and there is no limit on your losses. So if the price will go very, very well down or opposite direction than the one you wanted, the losses can be massive. It happened a few years ago. It was a black swan event with Swiss franc.
Yes.
So
and that is in the event where that massive move happens before the expiry of the option.
And like depending on the rule, you can execute the privilege that you had to buy or not, depending on some rules of the exchange, or you cannot, and then you're stuck with this product that it's technically worthless. That's why you're losing money. I repeat, in the prop space, this product, I don't remember that anybody offers that yet. We have futures, which is the second most relevant listed derivative. And there are a lot of companies who offer futures, but I don't recall anybody offering options so far. Maybe we can try to. Well, if our risk management team will allow that, I will be more than happy. But I don't know.
And so that, as opposed to the most traded product type, which is CFD, is the difference is there's no expiry date, there's no contract, or let's call it is a contract, but I mean you enter and you can exit whenever you want.
Yes. And it's trading around the clock. Usually options have expiry dates.
Correct.
And the pricing and the trading specification are coming from the exchange, and they are equal regardless if you're trading with company A or B. So everybody's trading with the same trading conditions. Obviously, the commission differs based on the broker, right? That's why it's called a listed derivative. It's
good. Some nice information, I guess, for the audience who don't know. Is there anything that you wanted to, I guess, bring to the attention of the audience over here?
More or less, no. It's just a summary. Again, on a very personal perspective, I think that the model is here to stay. Is not just a firework, as they used to say. Of course, it has to be shaped by the regulators or any kind of regulation that can exist. Because remember, there is no clients' funds involved, right? So I do believe that companies, brokerages have the ability to diversify their portfolio of product and offering. I do believe that those that do care about the customer will stay and will be here for hopefully a long time. I do believe FunderPro obviously is one of them. And I think that up to a level, people are afraid what's going to happen because they don't know what's going to happen, right? It's human nature. But on the other side, I think there are very interesting times ahead of us.
Yeah.
So the model, at the end of the day, it can be used on a bad way. There are some doors, unfortunately, for people who are scamming or whatever. But this also used to happen in a regulated brokerage, right? At the end of the day.
All over.
So, yeah, like...
You mentioned FunderPro's originally is still the headquarters on Malta. Is there a license there, or is there any specific reason?
No.
Because I know Malta
there is no actual license for the model. Obviously, the local regulator of Malta, in my opinion, understands the product and they accept it, right? So effectively, the headquarters are there because the company started. As I said, we have a very big office opening soon in Cyprus. We keep hiring people here, so there is not a very specific reason that we are there. Of course, again, the local authorities understand the model, and for now they are okay.
I mean, because we know that in Malta there is the gaming space, sportsbook and online casinos, which it's a very reputable license to get, and very expensive in Malta. So yeah, I just thought maybe around there.
No. The model has nothing to do with
gaming.
No, it has nothing to do with anything with gaming. Again, the local authorities are aware of the business operation of the company, so we talked to them before me coming to the company, actually. So yeah, that's the reason.
I think maybe just to kind of wrap up here, because I know you have some meetings coming up. I wanted to, a little bit off the topic, but I think an interesting conversation is your view around the election of Trump, Elon Musk and this Doge. If you know anything about it, if not, we don't have to comment more.
Okay, look, generally speaking, it comes with a disclaimer that this is just pure personal opinion.
Of course,
just like anybody else.
We're just speaking, yeah.
Again, I don't know if it's... You cannot categorize it as good or bad, but it's going to be very interesting. Yes. Like Trump's opinion about blockchain, about Bitcoin, and all these relatively new things, especially in Europe, because I think US is a little bit more, a few steps ahead on this mentality, at least comparing to Europe. And it's a little bit easier to do business in that sphere, as far as I know, comparing to Europe. So his approach towards blockchain and crypto and the cooperation with Elon Musk and his appointment, etc., I think it's going to be very, very interesting. Not sure if it's going to be good or bad, I repeat, but it's going to be interesting for normal people like us looking what's going to happen. So
I think definitely a good example to look. I mean, obviously US is a superpower, and I always like, it's good to look at examples on how other countries or other businesses or other people who succeed generally and are strong or whatever, what they do. What is it that they do that is working for them? And it's going to be interesting for me. I'm going to look at that closely and then try and apply it at home. We're in Cyprus. This is a very small country, where we also have a government. We also have, small businesses. We have people that are talented over here. It's going to be really interesting to see how that pans out, where the big one for me is businessmen who have grown their, okay, Trump has come from riches, but I mean, like Elon Musk, for example, these really talented people who have grown massive empires on their own. Because in my opinion, a country is like a business. You got to treat a country like a business. There's the GDP, there's revenue that you generate, whatever, and how you manage that is important. And I think it's going to work out, and then maybe apply that at home.
Hopefully, look, Cyprus has proven that historically, even though it's a very small country, as you said, there are extremely talented people here. A lot of open mindset, in my opinion, on what can happen. Like if these guys are doing on a massive superpower such as US, why can't we do it in a country less than 1 million or close to 1 million, right? Sure. And look, it's a hub for Forex brokers. Like how many? Like
we're successful,
right?
We are super successful on that front.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like I really hope that at least the good part of this cooperation will be absorbed on a lower scale here. And as you said, it's all about people. Like at the end of the day, government is a business, a very difficult one in some cases, and it can become profitable or extremely non-profitable, right? So people who were growing empires on their own, probably they know how to run a business, and hopefully they will help.
Let me tell you also something else. Thanks to FIDIA, Cyprus is at least in the spotlight of Elon Musk.
Yeah, that's a fact.
I open up X, right? And I don't follow many people, but Elon Musk is one of the people I follow. And FIDIA's post comes up on my feed. I'm like, and it's Elon Musk, no comment from Elon Musk. It's FIDIA's video.
I saw that reel.
Posted by Elon Musk. Okay.
Everybody in Cyprus was talking about it.
FIDIA's done something right. And so, yeah, it's going to be interesting. We don't know what could happen from that, It just takes one spark, right? One decision. And as long as, we're in that, as in Cyprus, I mean, I think, well done to FIDIA for doing that, because now we are in Elon Musk's eyes. It's great.
In his radar.
It's freaking awesome. We're in his radar. So he might decide, listen, Cyprus is in a really good strategic position.
And it's so easy to do business
for the Middle
here.
East and whatever. Let's build a Tesla plant over here. Thank you very much. We don't know what can happen.
We hope.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's so easy to open.
Yeah.
Not so easy, but it's quite easy to open a business in Cyprus.
Demographically, I mean, strategically, in terms of
absolutely
positioning.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
For sure.
Petro, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me again after 2 years.
It's my pleasure.
Once again, congratulations.
Thank you
for everything.
Thank you. I do hope we're giving value to the audience and whoever's following.
I think you do.
Thank you. We'll keep doing this. And thank you for participating in this. You've helped create whatever it is that we've created so far. You've been part of that, so thank you. Petro?
Well, we like, first of all, on behalf of FunderPro, I would like also to thank you for allowing us to be here and expose ourselves to your audience. On a personal level, when we met a couple of years ago, it was kind of straightforward for me that we have similar mentality. So I like to talk to people like you. Apart from the podcast stuff, I know that you are running your own technology provider, IT provider company, and I know we worked in the past and it was very nice cooperation. Hopefully we'll have the chance to cooperate also in the future. So yeah, thank you. Really nice studio, really nice new office.
Thank you.
And yeah, hopefully I'll see you in a third one.
Why not?
You never know.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's a wrap.